Good morning to our principal, Mr. Harshana Pereira, Vice Principal, Ms. Sandra Gomez, heads of department, teachers, and students. We are gathered here today at this Vesak Assembly to honor a sacred day for all Buddhists within Sri Lanka and across the world. Even with the unfortunate events of COVID-19 across the globe, we are lucky to be here today as a community sharing this holy occasion.
Let us observe Pansil. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Pānātipātā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinnādānā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kāmesu miccācārā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramere majjapama datthana vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
The day of the full moon in the month of May is the most sacred day for millions of Buddhists all around the world. It was on the day of Vesak in the year 623 BC that Prince Siddhartha Gautama, the one destined to be the Buddha, was born. It was on the day of Vesak that Buddha attained enlightenment, and it was also on this day that the Buddha, on his 80th year, passed away.
His story began in Lumbini near the borders of Nepal and India around 2600 years ago. Siddhartha Gautama was born into a royal family. Growing up, he was exceptionally intelligent and compassionate. Tall, strong, and handsome, he belonged to the warrior caste. It was prophesied that one day he would either become a universal monarch or a Buddha.
Since his father, the king Suddhodana, wanted his son to become the most powerful ruler for their kingdom, he tried to prevent Siddhartha from seeing the unsatisfactory nature of the world and surrounded him with every kind of pleasure. He completely mastered the art of combat training and married the most beautiful girl in the land, Princess Yashodhara.
If you could live in a palace and have anything you wanted, would you be happy? Your answer is probably a big yes. However, Siddhartha felt different. He was unhappy, even though he had the riches and was born into a powerful family. He decided to leave his comfortable home and find out what life was like beyond the palace walls.
Thereby, at the age of 29, he was confronted with impermanence and suffering on a rare outing from his luxurious palace, when he came face to face with somebody desperately sick, a decrepit old man, and a dead body. Siddhartha came to realize that old age, sickness, and death would come to everyone, and he had no refuge to offer them.
The next morning, the prince walked past an enlightened one who sat in deep absorption. When their eyes met and their minds linked, Siddhartha stopped, mesmerized, and in a flash realized that the perfection he had been seeking outside must be within the mind itself, and he knew he had to experience himself for the good of all.
Siddhartha left his royal responsibilities and his family in order to attain full enlightenment. He realized that conditioned experiences could not provide lasting happiness or protection from suffering. Over the next 6 years, he met many teachers who showed him his mind's potential, but he felt something was missing.
Finally, at a place called Bodh Gaya, he decided to remain in meditation until he knew the mind's true nature. After cutting through the mind's most subtle obstacles, he reached a state of enlightenment, of unconditional and lasting happiness.
He understood that there were four noble truths. Everyone suffers, from the poorest person to the richest king. People cause their own suffering because people do not seek true knowledge, but are greedy and want material things. Suffering can end by eliminating greed and ending ignorance. A person should decide to follow the noble eightfold path of right view, right values, right speech, right actions, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration.
Vice Principal Mrs. Sandra Gomez, Director of Studies Mr. Padmanathan, Heads of Section, Heads of Department, dear teachers, and ladies and gentlemen of AIS. Welcome to our virtual assembly and the special assembly marking the festival of Vesak, which is probably the most important day in the life of Buddhists in Sri Lanka. These are indeed trying and testing times for all people all over the world. And we are probably facing the biggest crisis of our lifetime, much worse than a war scenario or any other natural calamity that can happen to the world. Well, I guess all of you, ladies and gentlemen, are now aware of the magnitude of this global pandemic and the manner in which it has affected our lives, altered our way of living, and impacted on our livelihoods. First and foremost, I must thank all my teachers for a wonderful job they have done in the last couple of months, responding to this challenge of the lockdown scenario and ensuring that we still keep in touch with our students, that we are still able to deliver our services, and that you, young boys and girls of AIS, are in touch with your schoolwork despite working from home. So thank you very much, all our teachers, for a wonderful job done. Dear children, I think all of you, no matter how small you are aware of the economic impact that the COVID-19 outbreak has posed to the world and even to Sri Lanka. No one has been spared in that. Every country has had to shut down their ports and airports, and every country has had to adopt some form of social distancing. So I want you to appreciate the difficulties and the hardships that your parents will face for the next few months in order to overcome the challenges of the present outbreak, and also to provide you with education despite those challenges. And I know that many of our parents will give the highest priority to the continued education of their children. And therefore, I would like to express our thanks to the parents, and I want each and every one of you individually also to express your thanks to your parents for continuing to provide for you and all your needs, even despite these difficult times. Dear children, the lockdown scenario that we presently have has taught us a few lessons, and I think it's important that we try to learn from those lessons. This has really tested our patience, our ability to take life at a very slow pace. We have heard so much about the rat race and how the entire world and the global community was caught up in this rat race. And the beauty of it is that everybody underestimated that an unseen life form, such as a virus, which cannot be seen to the naked eye, had the capacity to bring that rat race to a halt and put people back in their homes and basically to ask them to slow down. And of course, as I said earlier on, this has been a wonderful test of patience. This has been a time for reflection for many of us. It has given an opportunity to appreciate the beauty of God's creation, to listen to the birds again, to hear the sound of the wind blowing, to appreciate the company of our closest connections, which is our family, to enjoy the comfort of each other in a close and intimate way. This has, in a sense, taken us back to what life would have been maybe 100 years ago, when we had less distractions and less things to do, and lives of people around the world were not so busy. Of course, I know that many of you have been on your phones with your laptops or iPads, and you have been connected even through social distancing. So we have now been able to appreciate the value of technology, but at the same time be true to our core values of togetherness and the strength of family. This being the special assembly for Vesak, we must also reflect on this important festival, or the important, possibly the most important Poya day for the lives of those who profess Buddhism. Vesak is called the thrice blessed day. It is called thrice blessed because it marks three important events in the life of Lord Buddha, which is his birth, the attainment of his enlightenment, and his passing away or paranibbana. So to Buddhists all over the world, this is an important festival because it is, after all, the thrice blessed day. And even though the usual festivities, the pandals, the lanterns, and the dansas are not going to be a feature of this year's Vesak celebration, this again gives us an opportunity to go back to very simple and humble celebrations of Vesak, in reflecting on the teachings of Lord Buddha and ensuring that we as Buddhists remain true to those teachings. And I wish all our Buddhist brothers and sisters a Preeti Vesak, or a happy Vesak, and I'm sure they will all be strengthened at this time of great rejoicing. So in conclusion, I must say that we are all looking forward to that day when we can go back to AIS. We are all looking forward to that day when we can actually physically enjoy the company of each other. I'm sure when you come back to school, many of you would have grown up so much, changed in your features so much that some of us may not be able to even recognize you. But I know that in your own hearts, all my ladies and gentlemen of AIS are longing to be back in school. Unfortunately, my dear children, I am unable to give you an assurance as to when you will be able to return to school. I only hope that it will be sooner than later. It is futile for me to give you dates at this point, but all I can say is that we will be guided by the health authorities, and no sooner they give the green light, we will welcome you back to school with open arms. Till then, we are left with no choice but to continue our online teaching, which is going on very smoothly. I know you will all cooperate with your teachers and ensure that the teaching that is imparted is received well, and that you reciprocate by doing your own work at home. And these are indeed difficult times for all of us. But through it all, I expect, as resilient ladies and gentlemen of AIS, I expect you to respond to this challenge by ensuring that you not only cover your schoolwork, but you also remain strong and resolute, knowing that we can overcome this calamity. We know that we can get past this, but we are that much able to get past strong together as a community. So I urge you all to remain friends, be supportive of each other, cooperate and collaborate with each other, get the best of each other as best as we can, and look forward to that day when we can return to our surroundings, the familiar surroundings of our school at Talakotua Gardens. So I wish all of you happy learning from home, and may the blessings of this thrice blessed day shower upon blessings on this nation and the world. And I pray that the entire global community will be healed for life to be restored to normalcy as soon as possible. May the blessings of the noble Triple Gem be with you all. May God bless you all. Thank you.
To avoid all evil, to cultivate good, and to cleanse one's mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A quote from the Dhammapada.
May all beings be well and happy.